Good evening, everybody. It is wonderful to be here, and I want to thank all of you. You know, this is the first time I've had the opportunity to address my fellow Republicans in a group like this since I've become United States Senator. And I want to thank the many, many of you here in this room that did so much to make it possible for me to have this wonderful opportunity to serve. And I take it with a great deal of seriousness that this challenge that we've taken on, that you all have helped me take on together, is the greatest honor of my lifetime, but also one of the greatest challenges. You know, when I was serving as President Trump's ambassador to Japan, many people asked me, why was it that I would take this step? I would step out of that role, a role that was held by Howard Baker, by Mansfield, a house that General Douglas MacArthur occupied for 6 years. Why would I leave that role where we were making a difference every day and come and take this on? I told my family, I told my friends, it's because the challenges that we face as a nation are that great. I could see what the Democrat Party was pushing, what they were trying to do. And I can tell you, after being in the Senate now for just over 6 months, Marsha Blackburn and I are taking on the fight of a lifetime right now. It's a bloodbath up there. It is much worse than I expected. You know, Senator Blackburn and I are dealing with this so-called bipartisan infrastructure bill. You know, they talk about hard infrastructure. Senator Blackburn and I are for hard infrastructure for our nation, but it's never been about infrastructure for the Democrats. This is a disguise to push through their Green New Deal. The Green New Deal, no drill. They want to kill the fossil fuel industry in America, by the way. More death taxes, more capital gains taxes, more taxes on corporations. They want to make America no longer energy independent. They want to shove our jobs overseas, and they want to give the advantage to China. We are fighting the fight of our lifetime, my friends, to stop that from happening. You know what they're not working on? They're not working on inflation. It's the most pernicious tax of all. It hits our retirees. It hurts the poor and the middle class more than anything. If you look at the inflation rate that we've seen, that we've encountered month after month since Biden has been in, they are importing legislation like never before. It feels like Jimmy Carter all over again. If you think about the border, they're not addressing that either. In fact, they've created a border crisis. They're more than happy to invite all these people in, unvaccinated, untested, yet turn around and lecture us on how we need to manage our health care here in the nation. And they will not help freedom fighters in Cuba because they just might think like conservatives. We need to do everything that we can to get the freedom fighters connected to the internet and let them have the information and the exposure to freedom that they need, that we enjoy. And you know, I had the opportunity to travel to Israel right after the 11-day war ended. I felt it was important because the Biden administration has been sending a message, the Democrats in Washington have been sending a message that somehow America stands with terrorists. I let them know that here in Tennessee, we stand with Israel. You know, what we are getting from the Biden administration and the Democrats in Washington is more waste, more taxes, and a lot more spending. Spending at a time when we can woefully afford it. You know, President Trump showed us what we do need. If you think about it, when he came into office, with deregulation, with lower taxes and energy independence, he delivered the most incredible boom that this nation has seen in our lifetimes. A blue-collar boom that's made America great again. And as Leader McCarthy said, there are very few presidents that have been handed the opportunity that Biden has been handed, and he is squandering it right, left, and center. You know, I'll be seeing President Trump in just a few more days. I wonder if we might have a message from Tennessee for him. What do you all say for President Trump, huh? I want to let him know that the people of Tennessee still support him. And President Trump helped highlight some things for us as a nation that I think if you go back to before he became president, many people weren't thinking about. If you think about what the answer might have been in terms of what the average American thinks of China back in 2015, quite different today. We understand the threat that China poses. We need to hold them accountable. We need to hold them accountable for the pandemic that they've unleashed on the world. And we need to stand up to them militarily, diplomatically, and economically at every turn. You know, President Trump also underscored for us something that had been happening. It's the role of big tech and censorship. I think many of us did not understand this, but today we do. And even worse, we've seen the Biden administration now admit that they're colluding with big tech. They're telling them what they think is unacceptable, what's unhelpful, according to the Biden administration, and big tech is supposed to act on cue and silence and censor Americans. We're not going to let that happen. Senator Blackburn and I are not going to let that happen, nor will your delegation in Washington and our Congress. And on the border crisis, you know, we've had a lot of talk about that tonight. But it is turning every town in America into a border town. Just think about what's happening in Chattanooga with the shelter there, the movement of illegal immigrants into Chattanooga. You think about what's happening right here across our state with the increase in fentanyl and methamphetamine overdoses, with the increase in deaths. As Governor Lee said, they're killing our children. This is coming from China across that porous border, and the Biden administration is looking the other way and allowing this to happen. We have got to stand up and address it. And we've also got to continue to remember the fact that America stands for something. America is the most exceptional nation in the world. We've always stood for freedom and for liberty. And every day that the Biden administration and the Democrats in Congress try to push us in the other direction, know that you have a delegation in Washington that are standing up and fighting the fight every single day to push back on that. Yes, you won't hear it from the American left, but I promise you, and I pledge to you that every day I'll be up there fighting for our freedom and our liberty. I'll be up there fighting for the American dream. And I want to make certain that we retain the American dream for my children and for yours. So I hope you'll join me tonight as we say a big thanks. First, I want to thank Chairman Scott Golden. I want to thank Leader McCarthy for a great speech. Governor Lee, you were terrific. Thank you. But I want to take a moment to recognize a great friend to Tennessee and a great leader. Someone whom I've known and admired since I was a kid in college. When I was a student at Vanderbilt, Lamar Alexander was governor of Tennessee. When Lamar was governor, he started traveling to Japan. He saw something there. He saw an opportunity. In fact, I remember Lamar saying that during his 2 terms as governor, he spent more time in Washington than he did in Washington, D.C. I tell you, up until 6 months ago, I could say the same thing. But he made a real difference. He made a transformative difference in our economy by recruiting the first Japanese companies to Tennessee. Lamar has gone on to have an incredible impact on our nation as well. Not only did he serve as our governor, he ran our University of Tennessee system, but he also served as the nation's Secretary of Education. He ran for President of the United States not once, but twice. And he served admirably as United States Senator from Tennessee for many, many years. So I look forward to a wonderful evening tonight to honor Lamar Alexander. And Lamar, I want you to know from the bottom of my heart how much I appreciate and feel your presence every day. Thank you all. May God bless you, Senator Alexander, and may God bless and thanks to all of you for what you do as leaders here in Tennessee. Thank you.